Oh my God, welcome back to another riveting episode of The Bald and the Beautiful. Today I am bald and she is beautiful. Welcome back, Courtney Act. Unfortunately, yeah, woo.
What's the sound of one hand clapping?
Yeah, koan.
What if there's two one hands?
Oh, but that's cheating.
That's called teamwork, kiddo.
Yeah. Well, so I remember way back in the day, like learning about you, and I was like, Courtney Act, what the fuck kind of name is that? But then
You're from Boston.
I was like, Courtney Act. Oh my God. Yeah. So that's it only works on like one very. You must be a hit in P-Town.
It's such a hit in P-Town. 2 summers, great summers.
Yeah, but that's it. Everybody else, Courtney Act.
Well, it's just a name, isn't it? It's like Chandler Bing. Wow, short message.
No.
That kind of like.
That's not a pun.
No, I know it's not a pun, but for everybody else, they just think Courtney Act is just like, oh.
Lisa Rinna.
Marriage Act.
Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
I mean, can we talk about that?
No.
Courtney Cox.
Courtney.
You Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox.
People will often, if they're not saying, are you Derek Barry? They're saying, Courtney Cox. And I'm like, it's Courtney Act. Thank you.
You do. I mean, it is uncanny, the resemblance between you and Courtney Cox.
Oh, thank you.
Wait, speaking of, I just want to draw the listener, if you don't have the pleasure of watching this episode.
Or hearing the sirens. They're coming to arrest me for being too gay.
Too sexy. It's before noon and she's so hot.
She's wearing crystal denim jorts.
Yeah. So wait, I'm going to paint the listeners a picture. We've got impossibly toned, tanned legs, punctuated by a beautiful... what'd you call that?
A crystal Doc Marten.
A crystal Doc Marten, a rhinestone boot. And then as we travel north, we get into a bugle crystal jort, dangerously cut to the coochie.
Oh yeah, these are definitely stolen from Courtney's wardrobe.
Yeah, she tape tucked before we came here. And then we've got a lovely little spangly denim jacket with a neon come hither tube top.
Yeah.
All wrapped around the complexion, the skin tone, the skin quality. It's really something to behold, and it's something for me to be ashamed of because you are older than me
by 2 months or something. When's your birthday? What's your star sign?
What's your fucking star sign? I'm a Taurus, so that means I'm
May.
Yeah.
Oh,
what are you?
I'm an Aquarius, so that means February.
Okay,
but.
So that
First
tells
and
us
foremost an atheist.
Yeah. But most important, she was born in February, so that means I know her entire personality. Yeah. No, but the point is, you are older than me, and I look about 15 years older than you.
I'm bigger than you, and I'm older than you, and I will always beat you.
You will.
Also, I think it's important for the listeners to know that I'm not in drag.
No, you're not in drag.
Loosely male presenting.
Yeah, I'm wearing an equality shirt because you look like a super faggot.
I look like someone who's going to be gay bashed, and you're going to need to be my ally and protect me.
I'm going to be that no, wait. Equality, remember? Can't kill her.
We fought for this.
Yeah. Have you ever actually been gay bashed?
Well, I'd say that it was a crime of opportunity that turned into a gay bashing because...
A what?
Well, I was walking up Crown Street in Sydney. I had a tub full of bobby pins because Vanity was doing Turn Back Time Share at a bar on Oxford Street, and she forgot her big black pins.
Gotta go get the pins.
So I went home to get her pins, and I was texting on... To give you a timestamp, it was a Nokia, like a green screen, monophonic ringtone.
So early 2000s.
Yeah, with a non-QWERTY keyboard.
Love.
And I was sort of texting. It was not that late at night, like maybe 11 p.m. And a group of, I think 3 or 4 large gentlemen. I was completely unaware. The next thing I knew, I was just on the ground being kicked.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And the pins went flying in the air, and I think they just wanted to steal my things.
They just wanted the pins they had drag queens in need too.
Their unit was loose.
There was another Cher impersonator.
I don't know if my rug will survive this gay bashing, but fingers crossed.
Fuck. Wait, you really kicked?
Yeah.
Fuck.
But you know what I remember thinking? This sounds like a
Oh God.
This sounds like a weird statement. But I remember thinking, I'm in the moment, which, you know, you're quite present, but I do remember a thought being like, I'm glad that they're wearing sneakers and not boots.
That's not a weird thought at all. Okay. It's like, you know, if you're going to get kicked and gay bashed and kicked on the ground, you want to hope for like, you know, a bedroom slipper.
Yeah.
Not a steel-toed Doc Marten.
No.
Maybe like a marabou mule.
Yeah. Oh, no, the mules have got a hard front if they're lucite.
Yeah, but they're open toe.
That's true.
Yeah.
You want to hope there's a sack of peanuts hanging out over the front of that open toe.
Yeah, the lacquered corn chip tip grabbers.
Yeah. With no gel nail because that'll pierce the skin.
And please file those.
Yes.
Those. Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, so you got kicked? Did you get bruised?
I had some
broken?
light, I had enough, like a little bit of blood that it looked dramatic, but no actual injury that meant that I was, long term. Didn't have to go to the hospital.
Okay.
But
did you milk the opportunity for sympathy?
Oh, I wrote a song about it. I
perfect.
performed it at a anti-violence rally, equality.
Yep.
But I think what happened was that they wanted like wallets and phones. But when I was like on the ground screaming, please, not my face, not my beautiful face.
Not the moneymaker.
That's when it turned to faggot, poofter kind of thing. Although they were a block off Oxford Street, which is the gay district of Sydney. So
you know what? I mean, please, if you hate fags, don't go to Fagtown.
And yeah.
You know?
And so then I saw an they were like, give me your phone. And I gave them like the Nokia 3210 or whatever it was. And they were like,
you're like, I want a razor. What do you do?
And then like, give me your money.
Really?
And I had a Gucci money clip. Oh, and so all it had in it was like a card because I was a poor twink. But when I moved to Sydney in the year 2000, I need to go back one step further. A rite of passage for a middle-class Australian in the 90s was to buy the first public offering of our national telco. So they were like,
what does that mean?
Like our telephone provider, like AT&T are going public and they've got like a share offering.
Like stock stuff.
Yeah, stocks. But it was like the first time that stocks became like for the people.
Okay.
And so like I bought like $1,000 worth of Telstra shares when I was 16. And that was with my Mr. Tiny Tot 1987 winnings.
Mr. Tiny Tot 1987 winnings.
I know we're going down a lot of tangents, but as viewers of this podcast will know,
we're no
I'm
stranger
very
to
good
at wrangling
it all the
She'll
way
always
back.
bring it back.
Yeah.
She'll always bring it back.
So after winning Mr. Tiny Tot in 1987, I won $1,000 in a Mitsubishi hatchback Colt. That's a car. Mum and Dad sold the car at a garage sale. Don't know what happened to that money, but that $1,000 went into a bank account with 10% fixed term annual interest.
You cannot find an interest rate like that in a savings account.
You're lucky to get 0.5% these days.
Thank you.
And so cut forward to the mid-90s, I bought $1,000 worth of Telstra shares. Cut forward to the year 2000, I moved to Sydney. I thought this is the time to cash in. I sold those shares for $2,000.
Cha-ching.
Got a credit card, went shopping, bought, among other things, a Gucci money clip. Cut forward to 2004. I'm laying in the street being kicked by this group of men and they're like, give me your wallet. I'm like, it's a money clip. It's Gucci.
You can pawn it.
Yeah.
So I think the moral of this story is obviously if you invest in any telecommunication stock, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you by gay bashers.
Well, also the good thing was that the Gucci money clip was actually a moment of like, what's he talking about? And that's when I ran.
Oh, it was like the Aliyah. It's like in Clueless. It's like when she gets like
keep going
held up. She's like, but it's an Aliyah. I know what it's a really important designer. Like that kind of thing. Yeah.
So that's when I got up and I ran. I got to the dressing room at Slide where Vanity was.
Did you bring the pins?
And no. Okay. And she was, as I walked in, she said, "Oh, don't worry, I found the pins."
She doesn't even get bruised, bloody, and she's like,
and I'm standing at the door.
I gotta go on
like,
my number.
Are you okay? And I was just like, yeah, I'm.
My Gucci money clip, and they beat me up, and I dropped.
And I was so shooketh, but I was in shock until that point, and she sort of just held me. She did her number, and then turned back time, Vanity Share, and I, because there had been a spate of violence around Oxford Street at that time, and there was this report, this idea of like, you need to report it so we have the numbers so we can assign the resources.
Yeah.
So Vanity dressed as Turn Back Time Share, and I went to the Darlinghurst police station to file a report.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there like on like a little wooden bench, and then they took me into a room, and Vanity had to wait outside.
Dressed as
Turn
Cher.
Back Time Share. And when I came back out from making my report, she had taken her wig off, turned it into a pillow, and she was like asleep.
She should have been like, we need to turn back time to before my friend was gay bashed. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so sorry that you had the shit kicked out of you.
Thank you.
But you know what? You grew out. You became a stronger person.
I did. I genuinely did struggle for quite a while after.
That's
where
horrible.
I think I was so privileged and innocently blissful up until that point. I didn't know people could just punch you in the head.
You never seen like a karate movie?
Yeah, but like that was on the TV.
That's the TV.
I never got punched. I've never thrown a punch.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time that happened. And it was like a bubble was burst where I was like, oh, it doesn't matter how smart you are.
No.
It doesn't matter how anything you are. Someone can walk up to the street and take away your power with their fists.
Yeah. Also, in like when you add alcohol and alcohol and a little bit of ignorance can really run you. And then you add a drag queen.
Yeah.
Not a great recipe.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I was in Glasgow. We've done gigs in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that town, like the promoters would never let me walk to the gig. Even like the hotel was like a block away. They're like, no. You're going to get escorted.
I know the exact, yeah.
The AXM.
AXM, yeah.
And I found myself back at the hotel in the elevator with 5 stag party, kilt wearing, drunk Glaswegians. I was in drag, and I thought it was like the longest 5-floor trip of the elevator. And I was like, these men are either I think they're gonna kill me,
or they're gonna fuck me.
Fuck me. I hope they fuck me first. But I was like, these guys really don't like what I'm selling. And it was scary.
Yeah.
It was actually scary. And on the short walk over, I was like, faggot, they really did not like. And I looked great.
You look great.
You look beautiful.
You always look
Very
great.
fuckable.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Ever since I was a little child, I've always wanted to be a professional photographer of kneecaps. Not legs, not ankles, not even thighs, just kneecaps. Kneecaps are absolutely amazing. There's something so deeply beautiful about the soft skin sitting atop the hard bone underneath, at the nexus of the upper and lower leg. Even now, as I record this ad, the thought of a kneecap makes me instantly smile. Did you ever have a childhood dream like me? Perhaps not taking pictures of all types of kneecaps, both large and small and in between, but something else? Maybe you have a completely different dream that you've been putting off. Now that we're all adults, we're so darn busy with jobs and taxes and driving little Billy to VCR repair camp. But you know what? That doesn't mean you still can't make time as an adult to learn new things. You don't need to lose your childhood sense of wonder and ceaseless appetite for taking close-up pictures of kneecaps. If kids are always learning and growing, why can't adults also keep that amazing sense of curiosity? Whether it's learning how to knit kneecap warmers, reading a book about lawnmower repair, or finally figuring out what a cloud is made of, therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder, because your back-to-school era can come at any age. I personally love BetterHelp. I recently sold my car to purchase a new camera for my forthcoming kneecap coffee table book, so I can't be bothered to drive to an office on the other side of town. With BetterHelp, I can meet with my therapist from the ease and comfort of my own couch on a schedule that works best for me. BetterHelp is designed to work with your crazy life no matter how busy you are. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/bald today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bald.
It's funny you talk about elevators and drag, because I was just in New York City recently during Pride. I was doing a gig for Booking.com, which a lot of people in the US aren't familiar with, which I guess is why Booking.com are a sponsor of New York Pride, because they're like a hotel.com, Travelocity. Like you can go, but they have a great LGBTQ sort of training program and travel proud partnership that they do.
That's Booking.com.
So we were doing a gig at the Edison Ballroom. Peppermint was meeting and greeting people.
Sasha
Velour, and Conchita Wurst.
It's not Wurst, right? It's Wurst.
Look, tomato.
Well,
because it's German, so it's like Wurst.
Conchita Wurst.
Conchita Wurst. We were all performing, and I was in drag, like big, gorgeous hair. Like I looked like
Beautiful.
Like a princess from a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And they gave us a room in this hotel to get ready in. And so I was in the lobby. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Yes, I'm in New York City, but I'm in Times Square, which is not New York City. It's tourism.
It's the armpit of hell.
It's like Midwest. It's families from all over America and all over the world.
Bridge and tunnel, tourist trap.
Come to stay in Times Square specifically.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
So this was the first time in drag, since all of like this kind of drag queen, groomer, don't say gay stuff had gone down, that I was standing there like feeling pretty, walked into the lobby and there was like families and children around and I was like, oh, am I something that they despise now? Should I just like, normally I'd be like, hi, be like, you know, a fairy at a kid's party or whatever.
Right. Like,
and I was like, oh, maybe I just won't engage. Maybe I'll just, and it was such a weird feeling because it's weird how like those ideas project onto you and then change your behavior.
Absolutely.
And like make you feel like where normally you'd just be like bringing joy to people.
Yeah,
looking
it
glamorous.
sours the fantasy.
It really sours the fantasy.
Also, I really don't love, because, you know, I've been doing some club gigs recently, but prior to that, you know, me and Trixie did this whole theatrical run where it's like we go to the venue, we get in costume in the dressing room, we do the show, we de-drag and go home. So there's not a little like transit drag.
Interaction.
And I don't like transit drag. I don't like, especially if it's at like a 3-star hotel.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm at the Ritz-Carlton or at like the Four Seasons, I will give you whore in the lobby because it's a very expensive hotel. There's a lot of, you know, the service is impeccable. But if we're at the Best Western Plus or the Level in Seattle, I don't want to
The
like.
level in Seattle was lovely.
Hated it.
I was
Hated
I was
it.
happy to be in horror drag for
Were
that.
you happy trying to fish out your key card to like open the door to then
It was
go into
preparing me for the eventuality that I would have to fish out the key card to open the door of my room.
Mary, no. You gotta swipe it to get into the elevator banks, and then you gotta
Swipe it to get to your
swipe
floor.
it to get
you
the
have
floor.
to do that anyway.
No.
You get in the elevator, you push the button, it doesn't work, you got to swipe to get to your level.
Let me tell you what kind. Well, just a brief hotel thing. This is what I want. Give me a giant fucking 3-pound key. Mm-hmm. Okay.
A physical key.
Like a fucking Game of Thrones skeleton key. Okay. You can tie it to a chain or a rope, whatever.
Maybe a ladle.
Yeah, yes, a paddle, a fraternity paddle, and no scanning anything. Okay, you press the button, elevator opens, you press the floor, you go up, and then you turn the key, and that's it.
Look, I get that, and that's how it used to work. But in 2024, we have layers of security to protect yourselves and each other.
But you know what? The Palazzo Avino in Ravello, Italy.
They remember your face.
Yeah.
They say, welcome back, sir, ma'am, sir.
Signore.
Signore.
Bellissimo.
Signoro.
Yeah.
Signori.
Welcome back to you. But I mean, it's like, you know, it's a very reasonable $5,000 a night. But yeah, that's what I love, because when you're trying to have a little after hours moment, perhaps like tiptoe, I don't want to have to tiptoe down the lobby.
I don't want that. I want to be able to
mules.
buzz them up.
Yes.
I don't want to have to be affronted with overhead, low institutional lighting.
Yeah, in a family of 4 that you have to share the elevator with your trick.
I'm in my
like
Honey Birdette
DL.
lingerie.
Yeah. Yes, it's demoralizing and humiliating.
For everyone involved.
Yeah, nobody wins.
Nobody wins.
Love does not win.
No.
Okay, but so Courtney is staying with me, and she is such a nice person. She would never complain about the accommodation, so I will do it for her. It's a interesting setup I've got at this new place. I have a TV in front of a TV. Mm-hmm. So in the living room, there's a bunch of mismatched furniture that looks horrible, and a giant wall-mounted TV, and then a console
with a TV on it
in front of it. That's the one that works.
Yes.
So we've got wall-mounted TVs.
Actually,
and
both of them work, and I've come home and I've seen her watching Fox News and MSNBC both at the same time.
Because I want to hear both sides.
Yeah. Just one eye on each one.
Could you imagine if I was watching Telemundo and then like it's like crazy? No, but I just you know, I have been in a bit of a depressive state recently. I don't have the wherewithal to get rid of to take the TV off the wall.
Right. And put the other one up. Get a man in.
Don't
do it yourself.
My Iranian, my Persian, my muscled Persian braced handyman that I was in love with just won't return my phone calls.
Maybe it's because you're sexually harassing him in the workplace, man.
I did nothing of the sort, although I probably did indicate heavily with body language and eye contact that I would risk it all to like eat his ass.
Maybe he watches the pod.
No, there's not a chance. Not a chance. But he escaped Iran to avoid military service.
Wow.
Nakanti.
Wow.
This man is so hot.
And has orthodontics.
He has the most beautiful hair. He's like a little bit short, jacked, braces, gorgeous trimmed beard, beautiful thick glossy hair. And I love him. I love him.
Maybe instead of employing him to hang your television,
I could employ him to fuck me in the butt. No, he's I found out he was like 22 and I was like, Jesus Christ.
It's a deal breaker.
Yeah. But I mean, I was like 22. He knows how to use a ladder though.
Right? We didn't have those skills at 22.
I don't have it at 42. Wait, so how old are you?
42.
Fascinating.
I've been staying, so I stayed with you for a week.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Okay.
You're in the guest room with a horror movie lighting. It's like Saw lighting.
It's very bright and overhead, and there's no
cool.
dimmer.
It's a cool, horrible, punishing light.
A queer person has never lived in this house before you, and you just haven't got around to it yet.
No, it is a very unflattering light that I just couldn't do anything about. I'm so sorry.
It's
but the bed is comfy, right?
Bed is comfy.
Yeah, I don't think there's a ton of cum stains on it.
Pillows are, well, there are now. The pillows are interesting because I often like recently in my life, I've come to appreciate a low-profile, soft, barely filled pillow.
Okay, and soft, nothing.
Because I'm a back sleeper.
Okay.
And so I just like that little support under the arch of my neck.
Sure.
But your pillows are quite high profile and firm. And I also noticed that lately although I'm a back sleeper, I've started becoming a side sleeper. And a low profile pillow is no good for that.
No, you need a little firmness up in there.
A little firmness and some good profile. And so I was like, okay, let me try this. And I've been sleeping on my side and I'm like, oh, this is quite lovely. And then last night you said,
you got to stick one in between the legs, hun. Right in between the knees so you keep those hips level.
Because I've had a little QL issue in my lower right back since
42.
a week before my 40th birthday, in fact. And I thought, I'm going to try it. So I slept with a pillow between my legs last night and thought of you.
Thank you. And I took the liberty of a soft glaze of Thorazine on all of the bedding so you get that really heavy sleep.
I wasn't sure if Thorazine was some hormone inhibitor.
No, Thorazine is like a antipsychotic tranquilizer.
Oh, okay, thank you. Have you watched? I saw like a TikTok or an Instagram of a TikTok, I should say, the other day.
Isn't that weird though?
That's how we consume media.
It's like this is a TikTok. Why is it on Instagram?
Well, because I'm not on TikTok. I post things on TikTok, but I don't watch TikTok. And I'm a millennial.
But it feels like every Instagram reel is a TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like what are you trying to...
When I post a TikTok natively and it posts the watermark and I don't save it, I had to pay for an app that will download my TikTok without the watermark so I can post it on Instagram as if it's native.
Let's go back to Nokia bricks.
Let's go.
Seriously, the little teenies.
Let's go back to making our own hand-dyed indigo capes.
Okay. So, yeah. Speaking of Instagram reels, that is not a TikTok. It's actually a fucking Martin Scorsese or like a Wim Wenders fucking Marvel movie. Let
me find her name so we can credit her.
This Asian woman, she's dying. She's creating a
dye out of like plants. She's like harvesting plants in a field. She's going through this whole process of creating indigo dye.
Like, it is so breathtakingly gorgeous.
Rabbies _world1, RABIAS _world #1. Also, I posted her story this morning and she reposted me and said, "Thank you so much, my friend at Courtney Act." And then I DM'd and said, "Your video's amazing. Thank you for creating them." And she said, "I'm glad you love them. Thank you for your love and support."
She's like, "Also, you look like a fag." No, that's incredible. She showed me this morning and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like...
It was like 5.5 minutes as well, just like
Avengers
transfixed.
Endgame level of like, it's the most beautiful...
She's in the Chinese like mountainside hill.
Yeah, like the
farm.
what do you call it? The little plateaus, the little...
Not the rice paddies, but that sort of place where the rice, like that kind of vista.
Yeah.
and beautifully shot and lit.
Stunning.
But she's like a woman cutting stuff, putting it in
Hauling,
like giant
hauling giant
block.
heavy things. Yeah. Crazy.
And then it ultimately ends with her creating this big, beautiful ceremonial cape as she like walks up the steps to a temple and like turns around to the camera and
It's so wild.
It's beautiful.
It's so wild. It's like, it's very like, if you can't, if you don't have the time to, I don't know, collect and crush your own indigo dye over the course of 18 months, store-bought is fine.
Store-bought's fine. Yeah. Store-bought's fine.
It's so beautiful. It's so
beautiful.
great.
This episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. There are a few times in life when crapshoots are okay. For instance, going on a blind date and possibly meeting the love of your life. Or trusting the insanely positive online reviews and getting that pad thai at a gas station in Sacramento. While crapshoots like these could lead to a supremely awkward first date with a gentleman 45 years your senior, or spending the remainder of an evening tethered to your bathroom, finding the right doctor shouldn't be a total crapshoot. ZocDoc is the place where you can find and book doctors who specialize in the exact field you need, whatever that may be. You can filter for doctors who take your specific insurance, who are located close to your home to save on gas, and most importantly, who are highly rated by verified patients. You can also see their real-time appointment openings, choose a time that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen insanely fast, sometimes within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments, which is more than I can say for the crazy hard-to-make reservations at Gus's Gasoline and Pad Thai in Rancho Cordova. The best part, ZocDoc is free. You can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online. With ZocDoc, you've got more options than you know. I love ZocDoc because I don't have time to wait months to see a doctor. With travel and shows and this podcast taking up all my free time, I need to see a doctor as soon as possible, and with ZocDoc, I can. ZocDoc helps me find the best doctor in my area and book them. If I can find a great doctor, so can you. And all because of ZocDoc. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/bald to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/bald. ZocDoc.com/bald.
I also love, do you know Erin Parsons?
I do know.
She's a makeup artist who is like fascinated about history of, history of makeup. And so she'll say like, oh, the Egyptians used this, and she'll order the mineral or the whatever, ground it up and use it. Yeah.
That's fierce.
Often very toxic.
Yeah.
And
lithium and lead.
Yeah. Arsenic, strychnine. And it was like, but she's so cunty. And she did this she did a gloss on her lips. Like, I hate gloss, like as a performer. We don't really do gloss.
Depends on the hair.
Of course.
Yeah. If I'm performing, I'll wear a glitter lip.
Ooh, really?
I love I've got this gorgeous, not Swarovski, Krylon opalescent glitter that just throws the perfect warm tones.
Doesn't wear though.
You can't kiss someone with it.
No.
But it wears very well.
Does it really?
Yeah. All night long.
Miss Fame, actually, when she did my makeup, she applied a red glitter lip so precisely. And so I was like, how the fuck did you do that, bitch? Like, I mean, it was...
so precise.
It's so precise. It was a cunty. But anyway, she did this
gloss.
A gloss. She took she just squeezed a fucking huge dump of I think it was this super sticky gloss, and then she put so much on. It had the juiciest, most satisfying look. But it's just for editorial. You can't actually do anything.
Can't go out of the house in that.
But I was like, oh
what was
my
it made
God.
of?
I think it was just
Cheers.
I think it was just Wet and Wild, juicy, clear gloss.
Oh, it wasn't ancient
no,
Egyptian gloss.
That she'll do we're gonna use toxic cadmium to ground it up and use it on our eyes and whatever. It's fascinating, but God, I don't know. I love that
I do love a MAC lip gloss, dewy lip.
But it's so impractical. It's for
a
one
photo.
Shoot. One photo.
Before it starts to dribble down your face and go into the cracks and crevices.
Yeah, but that shine.
Juicy.
Okay, so back to your accommodations.
Oh yeah, I've had a lovely time because I was here. I've been in the US for 2 months, and I stayed with you for a week at the beginning, and I waited until I left, I did tell you maybe in advance that I might be back at the end of the month, but I didn't want to push it. I waited till I left and I was like, hey, Mom, I'm going to be back from this date to this date. If you happen to be available, I can make alternate arrangements. And you were like, no, you're welcome
Always
back.
happy to have you. It's funny. You are a great guest. It is a little awkward. We haven't really discussed the fee for staying there, but I guess I'm hoping and assuming that all that will be taken care of at the end of your stay. Could you imagine?
Wendy will talk to David.
Could you imagine if I sent you a Venmo request for like $600? Wouldn't that be
$600 would be fine.
It's $1,600. How much is a fucking Airbnb these days?
I'll tell you how much a hotel room in New York City is. $500 a night.
For a shitty one.
This was
for
nice.
For 3 square feet.
$350 a night, and it was pretty.
What was it? If you say the standard, I'm going to kill myself.
The Ludlow.
Oh.
Downtown, Lower East Side. It was quite gorgeous and glamorous.
Okay. Because I have like...
King size bed. Bathtub that filled so fast. They even had a warning on the bathtub that was like, this bathtub fills really fast.
Yeah.
Don't turn it on and walk away.
Don't walk away.
I turned it on and I was like, whoa, I'm in the water already. It was cunty.
That's really cunty. Do you love a bath?
Yeah. I don't do them often, but when I do, I like to enjoy them. Sometimes I get in and I'm like, all right, now what?
Yeah. I don't find it's not a hygienic experience. It's more of a relaxation type of thing.
Yeah.
But I often have that too. It's like, so here we are. And I'm okay.
I like a magnesium, like Epsom salts, like if you're a bit sore.
Sure.
You know what else I got into was ice baths.
Let's talk about it, Mama. Let's talk all about it. So you're talking about below 40 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I'm talking, I don't know what the temperature is. My friend Robert, I was staying with him in Nevada City, which is like this sort of mountain Tahoe, because you hear Nevada, you think
Trash.
Vegas.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But this is in Northern California, like 3 hours out of San Francisco.
Okay.
Old gold rush town. Queers and artists have taken over.
Okay.
And he has this gorgeous home and property, and there's like an artist commune where 6 people live in this like barn and
create their own dyes.
Intentional communal living. They create their own dyes. They cut their own wood. Yeah. And he's got an ice plunge and a sauna.
Dedicated cold plunge, right?
Yeah, like there's a room that's like the cold plunge and like the infrared sauna.
Cunty.
Side note, I saw a video today on Instagram. I feel like it's an important PSA for anybody watching with breast implants. This woman who's like a breast implant doctor, she was like, I have no evidence. I have no science. I'm not saying this is true, but I have had 3 women come in over the last year who have had melted breast implants. And the thing that they all had in common is that they were using infrared saunas.
Fuck.
I don't want to be the perpetrator of fake news, but I just saw this video.
Proliferate some pseudoscience. Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, and that's a significant anecdotal.
Yeah, you're kind of like popping yourself in a microwave, right? One of my friends in Sydney, Osha, hi Osha, invited me to use his sauna, and I was like, infrared sauna? He's like, no. Old school, like wood.
We're not melting those fake titties. I mean, infrared, I just feel like, okay, this is an uneducated opinion that means nothing, but infrared sauna,
which is different to the rest of this podcast.
Yes, the deeply researched, cited, infrared sauna. It's like, I don't know, what comes before that in terms of like health measures, lifestyle things. I feel like there's so much that can be done that makes that totally unnecessary.
I read something, I want to say a book, maybe it was a pamphlet, about infrared saunas and
like
ice
if you
baths.
do cocaine all the time, you know what I mean?
It's called balance.
I guess so. It's like I do coke and I get in the sauna. It all kind of balances out. You know what I mean? Though it's like I have to do this because not like you can't. It's not like if you do one bad thing, it's all you should do everything bad. Yeah. But like I don't know if
it's a fad.
Yeah,
it's a fashion fad. It's like wearing Crocs or
I don't know, like
crystal denim shorts. Yes. But so I had never last summer. I hate going in cold water. I hate diving into cold bodies of water. I'm one of those like.
Oh yeah, I'm such a.
I'll have what she's having.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cunty if you instantly orgasmed
when you got
time?
into cold water? And so Robert had this ice plunge, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it because I know people pay a lot of money for this.
What is it like? What is it? Is it like a bucket?
Like a bathtub. It's like a big electric bathtub that's got like a cover on it. You set it to the temperature. The water is a little viscous.
Okay.
And what did I say? Bathtub.
Did you have to like psych yourself up?
Yeah. Do you know what I had to do? I had to read about like why, because I was like, why are these dickheads getting into cold buckets of water or even into saunas? I'm like, I've been into a sauna. I feel hot.
I don't like the sauna.
But then I read about like the science behind it. And actually my dad got me onto it, and he's sort of like, he's my favorite, like he should be a man selling snake oil in a traveling show, but he went science-based.
Okay.
So like, as he's a naturopath, acupuncturist, Chinese herbalist, osteopath, all of those sorts of things.
It's rooted in observable, measurable scientific reality.
As the science has become available, he's discarded the parts that the science disagreed with and was like, actually, that bit's bullshit.
He doesn't do leeches anymore.
But this, no, exactly. This bit still works. And so he was saying, oh, here, read up about like the health benefits of
sauna. What is that?
So
if you tell me,
you
tell me, Courtney, that sweat, if you say sweat and toxins,
no,
okay, thank God. Okay, thank God.
It's about when your body gets heated up to a certain temperature, like or above a certain temperature, it doesn't matter whether it's infrared or old school heat or whatever, it stimulates like a protein creation that is good for like longevity
but it's unrelated to the physical act of sweating, which is purely the body's cooling mechanism.
Yes, that's just cooling. It's different.
Because if I had a nickel for every time a yoga teacher said, we're going to sweat out all the toxins today, I was like, bitch, no, we're not. We're sweating out water and a teeny little bit of salt.
Heat exposure stimulate production of white blood cells. It's an immune response. Hang on. What about the stimulation over a certain temperature? The thing I love about ChatGPT is you can ask it leading questions and it'll give you the answer you want to hear.
It's like, does this top really work with these pants? It's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
It does, Courtney.
When the body is exposed to high temperatures of a sauna, it can trigger the production of a heat shock protein. Heat shock proteins are groups of proteins that are produced by cells in response to stressful conditions, including heat. Here are their benefits. Cellular protection protects from stress and damage. They assist in proper folding of proteins, preventing accumulation of damaged or misfolded proteins that can harm cells. Enhanced recovery, aid repair, maintenance of cellular protein, improved immune response, stress adaptation, longevity, and disease resistance. You can read more on ChatGPT. And also the same for...
Okay. I'm not sold, but
there's stuff. I mean, you could...
Well, and there's, our favorite blowhard Huberman was like, he cited... scientific studies, and I could be wrong, I hope I am, that the sustained release of dopamine is equivalent to about 150% of cocaine.
Right.
And it's not a crash. It's not a spike in a crash.
That's from the ice or from the
ice,
heat?
From a cold plunge exposure, and it's got to be like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's like...
You can't be in a cold plunge for 20 minutes. You'll die.
No, you have to.
That's called hypothermia, dear.
No.
I feel like it's 3 minutes.
No, it's longer than 3.
Really?
Yeah. So I used to follow this like young athlete guy on Instagram, but he was in his like early 20s, and I was like, this is weird. I'm going to unfollow him. It felt like a pedo, but he's he's one of those very dedicated Gen Z, like rise and grind kind of people. You know what I'm talking about? Like his whole thing is like, gotta wake up and hit it every day, no matter what, man. He gets into a cold plunge at 5 a.m. every fucking morning for like 15 minutes, and then goes on a mile run. And I'm like,
doing too much.
DTM. Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, that's sort of, some of the data has suggested that the dopamine it releases in your body is like very significant, and it's a sustained and steady.
Even doing it for 90 seconds or 2 minutes, which is the max I've done, I've noticed you get in, first of all, and look, you can get this with a lot of things, but I had a fear of cold water. I got in the first time for 30 seconds, got out instantly, like you feel the blood rush, you feel the blood flow, you feel amazing.
Invigorating.
You feel warm, weirdly.
Yeah.
Then the next day I was like, okay, I'm going to try again. I got in for like a minute. The next day I got in for a minute and a half. And you definitely feel like a high, but also like you've just experienced trauma.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's a shock.
Yeah. If you do it with a little bit of cocaine,
Perfect.
no, add the like spot. I've done the cold into the warm and like boop, 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 boop. Love that shit.
Our conversation, I wonder like last time we got into like talks of masculinity and stuff like that. And as you were talking then, and something we hinted on earlier, gave me the idea for a serious topic.
Talk about it. Tell me.
You said I was following this guy who was in his early 20s. I unfollowed him because I felt like a pedo.
I think he was maybe 17.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'd like to talk about this because I think that I was talking to my therapist about like feeling like around, especially like after I got called a groomer in the Australian Senate, it then sort of changed my perception of how other people looked at me, where I thought like I'm on the train, relatable. I'm on the train and there's like, you know, young kids sitting around and I'm like, oh, is anybody in this train looking and thinking, groomer? There's that Courtney Act, she's a groomer. And I thought there's an interesting thing where I think a lot of gay men and a lot of men actually, period, a lot of men, straight and gay, might feel uncomfortable around younger people because of the narratives about that sort of thing. There are actual like horrible crimes that are committed against children. And the idea of using the terms of abuse where no abuse actually exists diminishes the actual accounts where it is existing. And so I feel like sometimes when like I find like that idea, like I was sitting on the beach after the senator grooming thing, sitting on the beach with my friends enjoying myself, and some kids started like kicking a ball in front, and I thought, if the Daily Mail like takes a picture of like Courtney Act with a bunch of kids, and it's weird because you then project that idea, and I felt like a form of my innocence was taken away by that. And I obviously, hopefully this is obvious, strongly oppose all forms of child sex objectification or any of those sorts of things. And I just think like, I don't know where I was going with this subject.
I'm fascinated by it because I think that like sexual assault and like, you know, sexual assault of any kind to me is a maladaptive behavior. It's a mental illness. I feel like I know that like rape is a historically is, you know, as a species, it's just like very part of our culture. And it's always going to be, but like, to me, it's like crazy because I interpret that, you know, that power dynamic as a sexual, titillation to be mental illness. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm having sex with someone and I even get a whiff of like a lack of desire or like, reticence or never mind like no I'd be like like my weenie would become my 2-inch hard-on would like shrink to that it's half-inch flaccid.
Well, there's an Australian Grace Tame who's an amazing advocate for sexual assault survivors. I've heard her talk about the fact that it's not about sex, it's about power.
I know.
And I guess I don't know why I'm not sure why I brought this up. I think it's because I abhor, you know, child sexual assault and grooming and all of those associated things. And I feel like sometimes as queer people, because of the social narrative of the alt-right, we're forced into this bucket.
I hate it because just we're talking numbers and percentages. Men usually are the perpetrators of these crimes. If we break down the numbers, it's why did the straight guy? Why is it's like such a fucking shit? It's such a bullshit bait and switch. It's like, excuse me, what about the, I don't know, 70 to 90% of men who were targeting women, young girls? It's like, I hate that, like, we're groomers, mama. We're grooming our outfits to perform at Pride, and we don't want your children there.
Not to mention the Catholic Church,
right?
Who have kind of coined.
Mama, they are groomius maximus. They were born in the game.
Yeah.
You know, this is dark. I always wanted to get diddled by a priest, but
really,
yeah, but they were so ugly at my parish. It was such a bummer. Like none of them were gay. They were all super mean and ugly.
So your fantasy was for a
Altar
priest
boy
that you were attracted to.
Yeah.
to have a sexual experience with them.
But you have to understand, I was rebellious and very much like into Satanism when I was like forced to go to Catholic mass and in Catholic school. So I was the kind of kid that was like, I'm gonna get fucked by the devil, you know. And so
But
I would have loved.
That's again, that's like it's almost a consenting fantasy, right?
Of
and
course,
even though you're
yes.
a young person who's by the court incapable of giving consent, statutory rape, you were still someone who was having potentially just like a healthy teenage fantasy about.
I was developing my sexual fantasy world.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, the studies and all the Pew Research polls have all indicated that rape fantasies are the number one fantasies that women have.
Wow.
Yeah. Fantasy and reality, it must be noted, are two very different things. Fantasy is not real. Fantasies exist in your head, in a book, in the ether. They do not have tactile, physical
Real
consequences.
world,
and I think I don't know. Have you ever genuinely, sincerely been like perturbed or troubled by a fantasy that you've had? Something so dark that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. You don't have to share it. I'm just curious.
I don't think so.
No.
Do I ask you the same question or should I fear the
I'm
result?
waiting.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to say, when I was in high school, I read a lot of necrophiliac porn.
Oh, wow.
And I wished I was an avid
Where do you
reader.
find that? Tumblr?
No. These were books. Yeah.
You find necrophiliac porn in books?
Yeah.
You were resourceful. Where do you get the books?
At a bookstore. So it's fun. I was an avid reader in high school. Always reading, introvert. And my parents, they didn't. I would go to the bookstore, buy books. Poppy Z. Bright was this author, and she wrote a bunch of books where the characters were like vampires. They were corpse fuckers. There was a lot of like cannibalism and then necrophilia.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like very, very like pushing the envelope of like super dark erotic literature. And I was like, I think like if I were to go back and reread from like a literary perspective, they're probably badly written, I'm sure, but. Oh yeah, I love that. 120 Days of Sodom.
Wow.
Nasty shit,
Do you know what? When in a pre-prep era, when we had sex with condoms, and you still can have sex with condoms.
You certainly can. They are available for free at your local gay club.
Yeah. This is how, I think this plays into your narrative about me quite well. I couldn't masturbate without working out a rational way in which this fantasy situation involved me having a condom to have sex.
Oh my God, I love that. It's like, I can't get into it unless I feel myself buckling my seatbelt. It's like, that's amazing. That is so weird.
Right?
Oh.
I'd be like, oh, it's too hot. I'm like, but wait,
where's the rubber?
did I have a condom? Did he happen to have a No, that's
Did
not.
you struggle to put it on? Did I give my Viagra so it stay hard? Like, oh. But condoms are such a funny thing. I know there's like Doxy Prep, Doxy, Doxy.
Prep and Doxy Pep.
Whatever. Not whatever. Please tell me actually what they are.
There's Doxy Pep, which is post-exposure prophylaxis, whereas you take 2 doxycycline antibiotics and it can reduce your likelihood of contracting syphilis and chlamydia by up to 75%.
What about
and
gonorrhea?
Gonorrhea by somewhere around 54%, I think.
Don't love those numbers, but it's something.
Better than a poke in the eye with a burnt stick.
Yeah, and it's also better than shitting in your friend's bed. Thank you, gonorrhea medication.
We were just talking. Where was I?
I don't think I've ever brought that up before.
Once or twice.
God, I can't. I'm waiting for you to get even.
Well,
you're gonna leave, and there's gonna be a fucking brown, like fucking huge puddle of shit in that.
I was was it yesterday? It must have been yesterday because I feel like Jinx was there. I saw Jinx yesterday and a bunch of girls doing their drag pack filming. Encouraging you to go out and register to vote. And somehow we were talking about real dolls.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, oh, no, we're at Marco's studio. Okay. That's right. It wasn't Jinx. And it was Alaska.
You're talking about my friend Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about real dolls. And then someone said like, oh, how do you dispose of one of those? And I'm like, you stick it down the garbage chute.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? I'm like, well, that's what Katya did at my place with her real doll.
I mean, she was just a torso, though.
Oh, okay.
I would have felt different. It would have been a different experience.
If it had arms and legs.
And a head.
Oh, she didn't have a head.
No, she was just a big titty,
That might be even worse. You just stuck a dismembered
How is it
corpse
worse?
down my...
She didn't... Listen, she was Jennifer because I gave her that name.
The person finding Jennifer's torso, if indeed it made it down to the dumpster, or if it got lodged halfway and the building manager had to come and
I heard the thud.
Poke it with a broom.
I heard the thud,
okay. And then they're like taking out the dumpster and there's just like...
But not that, because there's no
put a little
head.
ketchup on the...
Well, how do you think my mother felt when she had to coordinate moving from one place to another and it was boxed in a box that said mega fuck slut, 40 pounds of fuckable pussy flesh that her gay son had purchased at a Hustler store for about $700.
Sex shop?
No, it was at Hustler on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay.
Lovely guy, the manager, love him.
Lovely guy.
Yeah, mega fuck slut.
Wow.
It was like 15 or 20 pounds of fuckable flesh or something. I mean, I loved it.
Oh, was this a cardboard box that you'd written on with a Sharpie, or that was the box she came in?
This was the box that was not discreet whatsoever. I mean, it was like...
It wasn't the plain brown packaging.
No. It was like those doorbuster sales, like giant, huge, bright letters. It was just very humiliating. But anyways.
PrEP, gonorrhea.
Condoms. I haven't used a condom. I'm primarily top, which I don't have a lot of sex. So I rarely have STIs. I don't have HIV. I'm pretty like aware of my situation, and I hardly ever have, I don't even know if I've had STIs. Like, oh, I have herpes, but like, everybody
comes and goes.
Yeah. I've only had one outbreak.
Right.
But like, I don't have the experience of being like a no loads refused, doors, weekend warrior, like come on in, like, there's paper towels over there. There's like, get in line, don't cut the line. And then, you're like taking loads all day. But like
I've also never been one of those people.
I mean, isn't that interesting? I think that's fascinating.
That behavior?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to denigrate it or demonize it
yuck
all.
Anyone's yum.
But I'm interested in the squelching. What about ASMR no loads refused weekend?
Is it what I always think about things in terms of power and control?
I think about it being the empress. No, seriously, it's a fertility goddess. Like you're filled with this, you are
the
like
seeds of many men.
You are the earth mother. Like,
do you think they're thinking about it like that?
I don't think
on any level.
I think subconsciously that's the vibe. It's like, I'm going to take the whole wide world up my ass and then gestate and you're going to be like super mom.
Octomom.
Or like, yeah, whatever mom.
Dodecahedron mom.
Yeah. Like literally one of those fertility goddesses.
I mean, that's obviously a fantasy, but it's interesting. I was
better than like a trash dump. Like, I don't like I'm just a whole.
I think it could be like just a receptacle for some people. Is it about like, I'm a piece of shit. I want you to treat me like one.
Yeah, I'm just a hole.
To be filled.
It's fine. I am Earth Mother. Come fertilize this soil.
Well, ironically, Earth Mother has become a bit of a trash dump because of humanity.
Oh my God, that's right. Mother Earth is just a hole now.
Mother Earth is just a no loads refused.
It's trash island.
That poor bitch.
Wow, we've really come full circle.
We have. But you know what? I always take solace in the fact that Mother Earth will kill us before we can kill her.
Mama, not even Mother Earth. Asteroid baby. Let's go. Let's go for the third.
Asteroid's going to do it?
Honey.
But the Earth is way more powerful than we are.
They've done it twice before, sweetie. Look her up. I recently became aware, and am now, of course, totally obsessed with the 2 asteroid events hitting the Earth with the impact of 1 billion atomic bombs.
Is that how dinosaurs went kaput? What else?
It was 2 major mass extinction events. Almost every single organism on Earth was wiped out within, like hours. The impact was so enormous. The whole fucking Earth was covered in like
Dust.
at like just radioactive, poisonous fucking ash cloud or whatever.
For millions of years.
Cunty. That's cunty.
And then what emerged out of it?
And then, millions and millions and millions of years later, blah, 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 the dinosaurs, then boom, the sequel.
The sequel.
I'm so ready for the trilogy.
The trilogy.
Yeah. Just imagine how, if there was going to be another event like that, what, if any, time warning would you want? Like, what would you want 3 days, 3 hours, 3 years?
It's hard. I actually thought about this recently. I watched Independence Day, the movie with Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum on Independence Day, actually.
Oh.
I think no warning is better.
Really?
Because I think humans they will just cause chaos.
No, it's just you.
Oh, I'm the only
one? It's just
one?
you, uniquely, yeah.
Like, because what are you going to do? Tell your loved ones you love them?
I don't know. It depends. Like, I think you'd behave differently if you had a 3-week heads up, a 3-hour heads up, or 3-year heads up. So out of those, what would you choose?
Either none or like the longest, 3 years.
Oh, really?
I think.
Yeah. And what
like
would
if you knew that if you knew that it was all for nothing, which it is, but if you had a time limit on it, I work very well with deadlines.
Wouldn't it be cunty if like you knew and then 2 days later you got hit by a car? That would be so shitty. You're like, I know something y'all don't know, and then you just get hit by a car. That'd be cunty.
I think deadlines are like boundaries for me. Like in high school, I was the kid who left it all to the last minute. Did really well. Like if I had an assignment.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah. But I've realized as an adult that I'm like, why can't I be better at that? And so I've learned to create artificial deadlines for myself. Yeah. And even though I know they're lies, they still help.
Absolutely.
I'm not perfect at getting things in on time or done when they should, but I definitely have known that like breaking things down into small chunks, small achievable chunks and setting a timer, even if it's a timer for 20 minutes, really helps. And so in a way, knowing that we're all going to die in 3 years, but then also would I still care about, like, I wouldn't care about like changing the world to make it a better place if I knew we're all going to die. So maybe all of my values would change. Would you start
throwing your trash out the car window?
Maybe.
No.
Well, for what? Why not?
I feel like no matter what, do not litter.
I'm a bit of a nihilist, but not
littering?
But not like a negative nihilist. I'm like,
I'd rather you
this is it.
I'd rather you steal children and like make them into soup than litter.
That's never been a desire, thankfully. No,
I know, but like go full Baba Yaga, just don't litter.
I think that so, like, what motivates me now, like, is I love performing. I love being on stage. I love entertaining people. I always want to do like I love big, pretty costumes. Like I want big, pretty costumes. I want a live band. I want a sound man. I want like all of the accoutrements so I can do my job as best as I can.
But you have all this stuff.
Yeah, but I want more.
Oh, you want more. So you want to be like, you want to play at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Maybe not that big because that comes with a certain amount of notoriety that I don't think I'd want.
Don't sell yourself short. Not with the asteroid coming.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I was on Very Delta the other day and she said that if the aliens came, that she'd want me to be the one who went to meet them.
Are you kidding me? If we're talking about in the drag race or drag queen universe, who is going to be the Jodie Foster in the Contact? Who are we sending to Vega to make contact? It's fucking Courtney Act. Of course it is. She straddles gender lines effortlessly, fluidly. One day she's a woman, 1 second she's a man, woman. Articulate, tan, toned, faggoty, but also civilized. You got it all. Please don't send Candy Muse. That would be a different ambassadorship.
Outcome.
Yeah. Wait, I wanna go back to this procrastination thing because what occurred to me in school and in college was everybody waits to the last minute to do their essay. If I were a teacher, I'd be like, okay, thank you for these. Take them back. Because you're all flops, this was a good first draft.
Yeah.
That you thought was the final product. I was like, why would you ever accept that the first thing you do, the first try at the last minute is like, it's not good.
No.
It's not good enough.
But don't you think...
We were never meant to do that, though.
I wonder whether that's just dare I call it the artist mind? Is it like a spectrum of attention deficit disorder? Is it something to do, like, are there, I think there were kids in school who got the thing, they did the work progressively, and they handed in a really good product at the end.
Not in my school.
No?
No.
Not a single one?
I mean, maybe one or two, but we all did shit. We none of us wanted to do it. We all did it at the last minute, and we all put in the bare minimum. Now, of course, certain abilities indicated, like, I could do something pretty well, but my first draft is not going to be my best one. But I was never made to do a second draft or a third or a fourth or a fifth. I'm like, that's really fucked up.
I always say the kindest thing you can give a drag queen is an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like when they're like, we're running 15 minutes late, like 45 to an hour before you're meant to be ready.
Yeah.
Or half an hour before you're meant to be ready. They say, oh, we're running 15 minutes late. I'm like, oh,
I know. That's like, it almost gives me a chub.
thank you.
I know. It's like,
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Like if I were a teacher, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know
It'd be a
why.
good lesson.
Well, also, yeah.
To rate, you would
Like, but you have to
mark
make them feel that this is the deadline.
Yeah.
It's do or die. And I'd be like, just kidding, flops. Like,
And
this
you would
is
mark
rotten.
them.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell them you'd mark them. You'd give them back and say,
Yeah.
this was the first draft.
Yeah.
Now you've got 2 more days.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And you're going to give them both back and they're going to be compared.
Yeah. And then you're going to see what happens when you actually set deadlines and prepare. But there's not enough of that. There's not enough of like real life skills in school.
And also, the amount of work that would require of a teacher who makes about minimum wage and works about 90 hours a week, they'd be like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so anyways.
Like imagine there are places on this planet where teachers are paid good wages. I'm thinking of like the Scandi
Denmark,
countries.
yeah, Sweden perhaps.
And I wonder, like I'm kind of fascinated by those more socialist countries to know how that all works, where teachers and doctors get paid a similar wage and like capitalism isn't as rampant.
Well, I mean, they have like what? They have like heavily, it's like they're heavily taxed, but they're...
Yeah, but all of their like healthcare, their childcare.
Yes, but most of these countries are very small.
Yes.
They're to a large extent kind of homogeneous,
Yeah.
you know, and...
I'm not saying it would work if you tried to apply it to America by any means, because I think when
maybe
people
a state though. Let's try it in a
Delaware.
state. Yeah, or Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Small. Experiment Rhode Island.
I mean, I think it's really interesting. Like these, I do think, and coming to the US, coming from Australia, where we have less income inequality, we certainly do have the billionaires, but we have a good social services program where we have like we call it the dole, like unemployment kind of benefits and things like that, and housing, public housing, all of that sort of stuff, and good sort of like upward mobility programs to help people who haven't been able to help themselves.
Okay.
And I think the thing that I notice in the US is like there's a real disparity, and there is a lot of people experiencing homelessness and struggling, whether it's like medical bills or whatever.
Yeah.
The idea, which I think is it Andrew Yang, introduced about universal basic income into the zeitgeist of American politics. In a future positive AI, post-AI world.
Terminator 3 world, yeah.
No, the future positive
Oh,
version.
okay, yeah.
Imagine like where like, because there is enough. Imagine if everybody had healthcare and a universal basic income.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
That first point you just made is a large... we just can't agree on that. No, there's enough.
Right.
And that people don't agree. That
Well, the
there's
rich
enough.
people don't agree.
No, nobody agrees.
Well,
I mean...
there literally is enough.
But they do, but
on paper. If you take all the money in America and you divvy it up by the 330 million people,
I agree.
There's enough for everybody to have enough, and then there's enough for the rich people to still be really, really rich.
But see, yeah, but that it's just we have set up this fucking ghastly framework where that is you can't snatch money out of people's hands.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing, but they're snatching it out of the poor people's hands and keeping it in the rich people's hands.
Listen, I think it should be illegal for an individual to be a billionaire. I think that should be illegal. I think there should be a maximum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like minimum wage, maximum wage.
Yeah,
bitch.
maximum wage.
When I saw that clip of that fucking flop CEO from Boeing on the grand jury thing, it was like, so Mr. whatever the fuck his name is, you got pay raise of what 60 million, and then your workers got a wage increase of 1%. It was just like, it was so embarrassing, flagrant, and robber barony, like this behavior that is just that's just the way it is. And like capitalism, that's just the way it is.
Capitalism is just like,
it's grim.
It's grim.
It's grim.
And it's hard to imagine. Like, I can imagine a world where, you know, maybe Norway has like an AI. They're like, you know what? We're going to let this AI run our country in a fair and balanced. Because the thing that goes wrong with socialism and communism and these sorts of like equality programs is greed.
Yeah, and also that they have to. Usually, you gotta like, especially if you're trying to implement a social
communist Courtney Act.
You kind of gotta like
AI.
You gotta mow down like millions of your citizens.
Well, that's the thing. Was like, I feel like a country like Norway or like a Scandi
like a
country,
democratic socialist,
already democratic socialist, would be like, we're gonna get this algorithm to like run shit and turn it around, and like and show the world. I mean, I think they do already show.
They
the world
do, and guess who's not, Mama? They're not like, they're like, y'all are. Ugh.
Yeah,
they're like flop. I think that fuck. We have to wrap, but before we do, I think that it should be every single fucking job. I'm talking about Walmart greeters. I'm talking about Dunkin' Donuts coffee servers. I'm talking about crossing guards. Every one of those motherfuckers should be able to afford an apartment. They should be able to afford to live by themselves in any metropolis in the country.
Did you know that the people, the baggers at like Trader Joe's are unionized, or at least they were historically? So they got health benefits. They got like all of those things. Like anybody, any job at any level should be able to live with dignity as a human being. Yeah,
you should be able to get as much money to afford food and shelter. You shouldn't have to worry about medical stuff because that is free. And then also, you should get free stickers at the bank and lollipops at the doctor's office.
Childcare, education, upper mobility, like things. Because you know why? I don't know how we got here, but the people who are at the top with all the money, the accumulation of wealth, they're extracting the wealth like they're extracting the minerals from the earth. But eventually, that money's going to run out if you're not replenishing it. And there's not going to be anybody to buy your shoes and your bars of soap and all of that sort of stuff. So it's short-sighted. And I think that...
Well, nobody cares about the future.
I know. Which is now a J.D. Vance talking point, saying that people who don't have children should get less of a say in the future of our country. So only parents should be allowed to vote.
Jesus Christ, we better start...
reproducing?
Yeah. Do you think, are we 42 too old to get? No, my sister's 40. She's going to have her second baby. I think
my sister had a baby at 42 and now she's 52, and it seems like a lot of work to do in this latter stage. We've had so much fun. We don't need to ruin it with kids now.
No. Okay, final thought.
I believe that children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
I believe that they are annoying and they should be put on an island.
Yeah, I don't want them around me, but we got to repopulate the earth somehow.
Okay. Last question.
Yes.
We have to end, but I don't know if I've asked you this before. It hasn't been on the air. If you could learn a language overnight by chopping off one of your fingers, would you do it, and how many, in which language?
That's a really good question,
I love
actually.
it. I love it, yeah.
No.
None?
No. I really want to learn a language. I believe that inside me I speak several, but none of them I'm not capable of. Ich kann nicht glauben, dass es keine Butter ist.
Oh, sehr gut.
Ja.
Oh.
But I really value all my digits.
You do? Okay.
And I would rather... I still believe that somewhere inside me, like I could go live in Spain for like a summer and do Spanish lessons.
Well, of course you could.
5 times a week.
I'm talking about native, perfect, like PhD linguistics fluency.
I get it, but I really like my fingers.
Okay, fine. Jesus Christ. God, she loves her hands.
But also, you know what I realized? What? I wanted to be a hand model when I was in high school. That was not what I realized. I realized that if I learn another language, I will never be funny. I will never sound smart. I will never, like at this age, at 42, learning a new language, even if I learn to speak it like fluently, I still won't be funny or smart sounding.
Mama, you're not even funny and smart in English.
Exactly.
No, that is not true.
You don't think?
Yes, of course, it's more difficult.
Am I bursting your bubble about learning Russian? Would you cut off a finger to speak
Mama,
PhD level Russian?
pinky, Mandarin, ring finger, Arabic, middle finger, Hindi, index finger.
You're working towards a fetish. You just want to be a nub queen.
All these left digits are going bye-bye. And I'm going to the UN as an official translator.
Like Nicole Kidman in The Translator. The interpreter. Do you remember that movie?
No, but I do remember the Catherine Tate sketch where she's like, well, I can do that. All right, but we have to go because I have a doctor's appointment and we have run over. Courtney Act. Listen, what a treat. What a fucking legend. And look at this fucking skin. Tanned, toned, taut, and ready to be touched. Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you for having me in your home and in your podcast studio.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the big hot steaming turd you're going to leave when you
just wake.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.